Hi Toy Tractor Times fans, I'm at the 2024 National Farm Toy Show. I'm here with John Sampson, who has a great display showing a local elevator. John, congratulations on coming in third in a very competitive division in the adult small scale.
Thank you.
What can you tell us about this elevator? I'm just looking at all this equipment and think about, I would love to be in Iowa in the fall because I'm seeing a lot of unique tractors, and I'm sure this is the kind of stuff that would show up at the local elevator hauling corn.
Yeah, that's very true, Jason. The fall is a very busy time for harvest, and a very busy time at any elevator that's taking in grain. This is just out of my head type idea. I didn't model any specific elevator or anything specific. This is just my own design, and I came up with it, and this is what I went with.
That's supposed to be corn.
I wanted to do this for a couple of reasons. I wanted to do it because I could put a lot of stuff on it and it still be realistic, because this is what it would look like during full pressure harvest at a co-op. You've got lines of waiting to dump, waiting to scale in and out, waiting to come back in, empty and dump and scale in and out, and basically there's 1.5 million bushels of storage on this display. There's 310,000 in this bin. There's 425,000 in the elevator setup. There's 330,000 bushels in the two grain bins, and then there's 425,000 in the pile.
Very impressive. Now, like I have a Seco bin here, and then GSI over here in the dryer.
So basically, what I kind of did here is I wanted to have like this be the older part of the elevator, and that they just put this up this early spring and fall.
It's amazing that these cement towers were so massive and big, and now these bins can dwarf them.
Yep. So this is a 75 by 90 foot bin to the eave. I built this bin out of styrene and a cardboard tube. There's a cardboard tube inside there that I wrapped the styrene around.
Okay.
And there's basically 85 stiffeners all the way around this that I glued on, and they come up to right here. And then I had to glue another 85 strips on top of that because the styrene's only 15 inches tall. So this bin is 18.5 inches tall from the cement to the roof. And then I used 4 sheets that are 12 by 24 of styrene to wrap this bin, so I have a seam that I had to cover on both sides because I couldn't get it to wrap all the way around. So
Nicely covered with the ladder.
I covered one seam with the ladder, and on the back side there's a stiffener covering the other seam.
Okay.
And of course the styrene was only 12 inches tall, so there's a seam behind this wind ring that I used the wind ring to. So I covered the seam of the styrene with the wind ring, and then I covered the next seam where I glued the 2 stiffeners together with another wind ring, and then I just evenly spaced them. Excellent.
Nice way to mask it and make it look real.
The roof is made out of styrene. I had a guy draw it all up and figure out the pitch and everything, and it's all scored, and it's 2 halves put together, and every score mark is covered with a rib to make it look like a roof.
And I also like to kind of have that local elevator co-op just equipment here. You got the wheel loader tucked in there. Commodity truck and the
fertilizer, the Terrigator, and then there's a skid loader behind there. The weigh wagon and the co-op truck for doing yield calibrations on monitors and yield checks and stuff.
Well, also let's take a look at the pit. We got the drive-through cover here.
Yep.
And
so I've got
corn going
all
in.
the pits are numbered. You can see there's 1, 2, and then 3.
And what's unloading in there right now?
This is all corn harvest. So there's corn, all the wagons are filled with cornmeal to simulate corn.
And what is that, a wagon inside number 2 here?
That is an international grain truck.
Okay. Very good.
And then we've got a Mack on a jet code grain trailer dumping in it. So we've got a single pit in there, a double pit, so they can dump both both hoppers at the same time.
There's the S1900 right there. Jumping out. And then tell me about the main elevator right here, the cement.
So the main elevator, there's 15 bins Plus, there's a few in the middle
Okay.
that are like halfway up. For like years ago, they used to load trains out of the other side. The train tracks are since gone, so they utilize the upper bins now to fill the two overheads so they can haul out.
And what did you make that out of?
I made that out of, there's, where I work, we use drafting paper that's 22 inches wide, and in that drafting paper is the cardboard center, the center of the roll. So there's 15 cardboard centers in that structure. And then the flat spots, the top and the bottom, and the flat spots here are all made out of masonite.
Okay.
It's all just glued together in like a honeycomb.
Then you've got all the elevators and everything connecting the whole system
Yep.
all the way across and
Yep.
the main tower and down to the extensions and the pile. So here we've got a Mack truck.
Yeah, so he's actually loading out. So what he's doing is his front hopper's full. This happens a lot in the fall when they start getting full. They'll bring truckers in, either throughout the company or hire truckers to come in to haul loads out so they can keep the farmers coming in and dumping.
Nice. And looks like we've got some classic Chevrolet trucks here.
Yep.
I really like this orange one here with the
center dump on
Yeah.
it. Yep. I did that. That's a 3D center dump wagon box I got somewhere. And I don't know if how this works everywhere else, but in our area, it's all one-way traffic. So when you pull in to dump, you pull in one direction, you scale, you probe, you go out, the pit will light up to which pit you're going to go to. When you're empty, you got to come back the same way. So that's why you have these three guys are empty, waiting to come in
to reweigh.
to reweigh empty to go out. And empty trucks have the right of way. Otherwise, you can't.
Right.
You can't keep things moving. So like, he's in line to dump. He's in line to dump. These guys waited back, so these three trucks can come in and weigh after these two do, and get them three out of here so they can keep going. And that's what I've got empty sitting there too, like they're coming out to go either direction on the highway.
Sure. And we can see that Massey 1155 is going to come down this way and
Yep. So
pull in.
even though there's a driveway there, they still have to come down here to pull in.
Well, let's we've got the office and the weigh house here.
Yeah. So I bought the office. The office, I sent some pictures to Brandon Casebeard.
Okay.
And he made the office for me. It matches an office that's local to my area.
Good job to Brandon.
And yes, he did an excellent job. I built the probe, the hydraulic box. Here's your, so when you weigh empty, they'll print you a ticket. So that's your ticket box that prints it out. You stop back, so you can just step out of the cab and get your ticket. And then that's your pit signs, like 1, 2, and 3, and then it always reads out your weight.
Nice. And then you got an AGCO. What AGCO LS do you have?
That is, I guess I don't even remember. It's 8650, I think, or 9650.
That's a great tractor.
Yeah, that's an
like
Aaron,
the matching.
That's an Aaron
wagons.
Jensen tractor. I matched I've only ever seen one set of orange J&M wagons, and I was on a trip to pick up parts for my combine, and there was a gentleman farming, in the area where I was getting the parts from, and he had two sets of these orange J&M wagons, pulling them with an Alice Chalmers 8070, I think it was.
Harvest perfection. That's very cool.
I wanted to match those wagons because I've always ever seen green or red,
Right.
So
I like that.
a lot of the stuff is customized by me or scratch built by me. There's some stock stuff on here, and there's some bought and stuff on here, but everything is pretty much.
I like this John Deere AMT.
Yep, a good friend of mine gave that to me.
So, the other interesting things when talking about cool tractors that you might see in Iowa is a narrow front 86 series here with the DMI wagons.
So
and then,
I built that tractor. I've seen a couple pictures on the internet of that, the 86 series with a narrow front. There's a 1086 with a cab on it, narrow front, that's you see quite a bit. And I've seen a couple of them without a cab, and I wanted to do the cabless version. And then the 706, I believe it's
on
the 706.
Yep, on the big Parker wagon.
The big Parker. Chris Shimmick did that one.
Nice. Well, then I think the star attraction here is the is the pile.
Yep. So
Tell me about this.
So the pile is actually made from several layers of insulation. I cut circles. Started with my biggest one and just worked it up and stacked it. It is correct for the angle of repose that grain flows to. So the height of the pile in the middle is about 57 feet.
Wow.
And the angle of repose, I think, is like 24, 25 degrees. And that just means that's when the corn, when corn flows, it stops flowing at a certain degree. So the pile to scale is 160 feet across.
Well, and I like to have all the bracing here to help create that pile.
So yeah, that's a common, all the outside piles have some kind of outside wall support, usually.
Now, tell me about is this a solar panel or what is this back here?
No, that's just extra paneling,
okay.
extra panel parts, old gravity wagon, elevator stuff, that you'd have laying around. And that's, you got your bush hog, your drive over pit. Every elevator
here helping themselves to a meal.
Yeah. Every elevator has an old tractor and a gravity or around me and a grain cart to move grain around and do things. Doug Simon actually weathered that tractor up for me because I wanted it to look old because they don't take care of them,
Right.
They hop in them and go all the time. So.
Well, then to me the most interesting thing is the Uni-system with the set up with
that's
kind of a snowblower.
It's a pile mover is what it is. It's got an auger inside that pulls it to the middle. That's got a paddle on it that throws it onto this 30-inch belt. So when they get ready to move the pile and clean all this up, they'll actually grain back out like 3 or 4 sections here and pull those sections out, and they'll turn that in there and they'll just drive into that pile and that'll fill a truck in like 3 minutes.
Wow. Well, the Uni-system has many uses, and we find yet another one.
Yep.
Take a look at those paddles. Well, John, thank you for the tour. It's just exciting to see this setup and all the activity going on with the fall harvest.
Well, thank you for the interview, Jason. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's been fun to do, and it's been about 20 years since I've done this.
How many years have you been involved with the Nationals? Like, when was the first time that you set up a display here?
I want to say it was either 99 or 2000 is the first time I set up a display here. And then I was doing one about every year for the next, I'd say 10, 12 years. And then I got married and life happened.
Sure.
So.
Well, we're glad that you're back, and
Yep.
you're probably one of the deans of the hobby now for seniority of these displays.
Well, I'm going to continue, I hope, and keep bringing stuff around, and that's the goal anyways.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to everybody for watching Toy Tractor Times YouTube, where there are hundreds of videos of farm displays. And if you would like to learn more about model farming, check out Toy Tractor Times each week for Model Farm Monday, where people share pictures and stories from their farm display. And as always, thank you for watching.